Hi guys, I'm so excited for today's video because today I'm going to be reviewing for you the Fighter palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. And Fantasy Cosmetica is a brand that has been a favorite of mine ever since I discovered them. They did send me this palette. They have sent me all of the palettes that they have in their collection. And I am so excited to be showing you this because I feel like this is sort of something that was maybe not lacking in their collection, but this is more of a neutral palette, but it's got some really interesting colors to it. And I've done one look with this so far. I'll show you that in the end of the video. I'll do one look on camera, and I kind of saved the look that I want to do today for the look that I want to show you because I feel like the other look I did was kind of like a neutrally look, and I want to really play with these like grayish and bluish tones because I feel like they're going to go really nicely together. So this palette is available already. I've had this in my hands for quite some time. I've just been really busy this month. I know I've talked about it many times in the past, but I'm finally back to like being able to post regular content whenever I get new things. I'm going to be able to get the videos up pretty fast. So this is going to be more of a late video, but I figured better late than never to review a palette because there are still people who probably have not picked this up who still wants to pick this up. So I'm going to show you two looks, give you my thoughts, my review, whatever you want to call it. And I also wanted to mention that they've come out with a fragrance with this collection, and I'm gonna pull this up on my phone. I actually have the fragrance, but it's in my bag. I actually brought it on one of my travels because I love the scent of it. This is called the Fighter scent, and it's described as a dark chocolate marshmallow and almond scent with floral accents. And if you're someone like me who maybe aren't super into fragrances and you don't like those very, how would I explain them, like rich, kind of complicated, like fancy scents. Like I'm the kind of person who I just like sort of like a body spray that smells sweet. Like I don't need anything too intricate or like that has scents of like all these fancy crazy things. Like no, I don't want that. Like that is not me. I'm not a very complex person when it comes to my scents. I just want to smell sweet. And if you like sweet scents, I think you're going to really like this. I think it is amazing. I've worn it so much and I'm so happy that I have it. And when I run out, I will absolutely repurchase because that is how much I love this scent. So if you like sweet scents, if you like chocolate, you like candy, this one might be for you. So I did want to just mention it because I love it, but mostly it's just going to be about this palette. So you've probably seen the swatches already. I think that this palette swatched beautifully. I'm excited to do another look with this, and I think that today's look is going to be very dramatic, very intense, and I really, like I said, want to use the grays and the blues. I think it's just going to look so nice, and I might even do like some blue graphic liner or something. I don't know. I'm in a very creative mood today. I feel like I say that now and then I'll start and maybe do like 2 colors in my crease, but we'll see what happens. Like I really want this to be a cool look that maybe not everyone has done with this palette, but maybe they have. I don't know. I have not been good at keeping up with watching YouTube lately. There's been very few things that I've actually watched. The only thing that I will say that I've kind of noticed on my timeline is the new collection from Ringlight. They came out with the like Hershey's round 2 collab, and I'm sitting here wondering, like, am I gonna get that in PR or not? Like, I've been on Rinlight's PR list for the longest time. I did get the Rick and Morty, was that the name of the palette? Maybe this is why they're considering throwing me off the PR list, because every time they come out with something and they do like a palette with a franchise, I'm like, I don't know what this is. But anyway, like I'm really hoping I get that Hershey's collab in PR, because if I knew I wasn't going to get it, I would have bought it so fast because I love the palettes in there. Like, oh man, like I really want to play with them, and I feel like this side of this palette reminds me of the white chocolate Hershey's bar from that collab, and it just makes me very excited. So I'm actually gonna just do these 2 in my crease, I think, and then probably all these 3 on my lid so I can test out all the shades in this palette because that just seems like a good idea to me. I'm gonna start with this one, which is called Cavalier, and I'm gonna use it on my Singe Beauty EO2 brush. And I'm just gonna do this in my crease, and I feel like I used to not really like gray shadows, but I think recently, just because there's been some palettes that I've had gray shadows in them, and every time I've used them, I feel like they suit me. I don't know, like there is something about the grays that just, every time I do a gray look, I'm like, actually kind of like this. So I'm hoping this is gonna be the case today too. I don't think this is going to be like the most like dark and smoky eye. I feel like the black in here is not like the blackest of blacks. I feel like it's more of a dark, like very, very dark gray, which totally makes sense. So we'll see how dramatic I'm able to make this. Obviously, if I started with that shade first and blended it out with the gray, it would probably be a little bit more intense. But I think I've just realized for myself that even though I know that shadows perform a little bit better when you go dark to light, I just prefer going light to dark. Like I've had my faces where I've done the other way around, but it just feels more natural, I think is where I'm trying to get at. I'm like trying to find the right phrase for what I'm trying to say. But I think it just feels more natural to me to go light to dark, and I think a lot of people feel that way. So that's just what we're gonna do. And if sometimes looks don't end up being as dramatic as they maybe could, that's on me. Like that is my fault. That is not the shadow's fault. The only exceptions I'll make is if I swatch a shadow and I don't think it's going to be the most buildable, then I will go dark to light just to make sure that I don't get any patchiness or anything like that. But for the most part, I feel like makeup is so good these days. Eyeshadows have come such a long way that for the most part, you can build most shadows pretty well, with the exception of maybe a couple of different colors depending on the formulas. But this is a really, really cool, it's kind of like a bluish gray. Wait, are all grays blue based? Probably not, right? So I think this is where I'm going to leave it with the top of this. Am I going to take this under my eye? I guess I'll do a little bit on my lower lash line as well, just to tie it all together. And it's also a little bit easier just to get like the outer corner right if I just connect the lower lash line right away. And then I'm gonna grab the black shade, which is called Warrior, which, like I said before, is more of like a very dark gray. And I'm gonna see just how intense I'm able to get this outer corner and how buildable this shadow is. Like, this is performing so well. It's blending so nicely into that gray shade and is layering really nicely on my lid as well. Like you can see, it's not like a charcoal black. It's definitely more of a, like I said, a grayish black, but it's still a black and it's getting really nice and dark. I don't think I want to take too much of this underneath my eye. I'm going to keep most of the depth just on the outer half of my lid. I am layering it on my lid as well, as you can see, just because I feel like when I go in with these shimmers, these are more of like that sheer kind of formula. So if I have a bit of a base underneath, it's just going to create more of a gradient when I do start layering them. I mean, this is looking basically flawless. Like, that performed so well. I am majorly impressed. I am going to use some glitter primer because it's just kind of what I do now. I feel like I'm repeating myself every single time I do it, but like, you never know when new people are going to watch your videos. I feel like I just kind of have to say it, you know, so sorry if it gets repetitive, but if you are new, it's for you. So I'm going to take a flat brush. I'm just going to use this one from Sigma. It's the E54. I'm just going to put the glitter primer all over my lid. And we're gonna do, I guess, all three shimmers. So I'm gonna start with the darkest one, which is this one. This one is called Might. And this is a purple with like some kind of bronzy particles in it. It's a really interesting color. I'm gonna do that pretty much on the outer like third of my lid here. I'm gonna layer it over that black shade. I might go in with the black again over the top of this as well, just to get a better blend, but I wanna see what this shadow looks like. So it's a very, very smoky shade, and if you like doing smoky eyes, doing this like all over your lid with like some darkness in the crease would look so fun. I feel like for me, smoky eyes aren't really my thing. Like, it's not something I do very often, and I find that it's just not as flattering on my eye shape as doing something that has lightness in the front portion. It could just be me. Maybe I just, you know, have not given smoky eyes their chance yet, but I just feel like every time I do a look like that, it's just doesn't make me feel as confident and good about my makeup as when I do like a shape like this. I don't know what it is, but that looks really nice. Next, I'm gonna dip into the shade called Blade, which is the kind of middle bluish shade, and we're gonna use the lighter one in the front portion and in the inner corner. So I'm just gonna put this basically in the middle, leaving some room in the front for the other. That is so pretty. Like, I really like this color combination and these cool tones. Like, do you guys remember back in the day when everybody used to do cut creases in every single look? I'm so happy that that trend kind of died. Like, I remember trying to do cut creases all the time, like, especially half cut creases, and it's like, why were we doing that? It really doesn't look that good on most people, and it's like, it's not that it doesn't look good, I feel like it's just more of like an Instagram kind of trend. It's like when something in fashion goes viral and everybody is like wearing it for a while, and then you look back at it 20 years after and you're like, why did people wear that? Like, that looks kind of ridiculous. That's how I feel about cut creases. Like, yeah, it's very artistic and it looks great on camera, but like, I don't know. I feel like more blended looks are just, they just look better on most people. Like, sorry, not sorry, but that's just how I feel. So I'm just gonna take this shade in the front portion of my lid. Now, if it was up to me and I wasn't reviewing this palette, I would just slap the shade all over my lid with like one color in the crease and call it a day, because this is the kind of shade that I love these kind of like iridescent, but they still have like a color to them. They're super sheer, but like so sparkly and wet looking, and they just look amazing. Like, that looks great. Like, that is exactly what I wanted. And I wish I had more room on my eyeballs so that I could use this all over, but alas, here we are. So I'm just gonna do as much of this as I can without covering up basically the rest of the shimmers on my lid. I'm also putting this on my lower lash line because I feel like I can never have too much of this. Okay, so I was able to cut off like the little fray that was sticking out. Just gonna get some more of this on here, and I'm not gonna do anything fancy. I'm basically just gonna do, I think, just like a line as if I'm doing a wing, but I'm not gonna like make it a thick wing. It's just gonna be a straight line. So I'm just doing this with my eyes open so that, obviously, since I have hooded eyes, I need to make sure that it looks like a wing. And this, I feel like, is not my favorite out of the colors because I find it a little bit sheer, so I'm gonna have to go over it with another layer after this is dried. I'm gonna go ahead and just connect this to my lid. I'm then gonna take the lighter shade. I'm gonna do a line underneath the line that I just did and just do a bit of a double wing here. So I'm kind of connecting to my lower lash line underneath, and I think I also want to do a bit of this on my lower lash line just right here. I really enjoy just putting some of these liners here. So I don't think those are perfectly even, but I don't want to fuss with it too much because I don't want to mess it up. So I think that's basically going to be it for like the look. I'm just gonna do a little bit of black liquid liner on top and then put on some lashes. Probably do prance in my waterline because that just seems like the right thing to do, and I'll come back and show you the final look. I think I'm gonna love this. And I love this look. I think it turned out so good. I'm feeling very dramatic, but like pretty and kind of sexy and smoky at the same time. I don't know, I love this. There's something about the color combination between the blues and like the cool tone crease. And the liner, I think, looks so good. I love this look. This is everything that I wanted and more. Is exactly what I was kind of feeling when I sat down to do this look. And I think it just all came together so beautifully. I did also do some blue highlighter with the Noctilucent palette from Blend Bunny, as well as just a little bit on my brow bone as well. But I love this look. I think it is beautiful. So far, I have had such a good time with this palette. I have now tried every single shade in this. I will show you the first look that I did with this palette as well. And like I said in the beginning of the video, it's not the most, you know, exciting or creative. I just wanted to test out the shades in a way that was easy and simple. I did not have the most time in the morning yesterday to do my makeup, so I just wanted to do a pretty basic, you know, like mustardy brown crease with the bronze and the kind of red shimmer on my lid. And that was pretty much it. Nothing fancy. Anybody could do that look. And I think it turned out really nice. It was very pretty. I felt good the rest of the day. I had no issues whatsoever with wear time with these. Not even any creasing. Everything wore beautifully. I think the formulas are really nice. I do think that these are more of a buildable kind of formula. It's not like the most intense pigment right away. They're very, very smooth. They're easy to work with. They blend well. They build well. The shimmers are beautiful. They're really sparkly and pretty, and the longevity is really nice. And I think if you like this color story, I think you're gonna love this palette. I do have a code with Fantasy Cosmetica that will save you some money. It's just Annette for 10% off. It is affiliated, just so you know. I will have all the information linked down below in my description box, as well as, of course, a link to this palette if you want to check it out. They also have some really nice other palettes as well. If this color story isn't up your alley, I want to say this is their 4th palette or their 5th palette. I think their 4th palette. Maybe I'm forgetting one, but I have all the palettes and I really like all of them. And I think if there's a color story that you like more than this, you're gonna like the formula in the other palettes as well, because they're really, really nice. So that's gonna be it for today's video. I'm not sure what my next review is going to be. I have gotten some packages from ColourPop. Let me know if you want to see anything with those. I got their little like 9 pans. I don't know if those were the ones that were gonna be at Target. I got another collection with the like the anime thingy. Tarkudo, is that the one? I don't know. Let me know if you want to see anything with that, and I can do a video, maybe like combining some ColourPop stuff in one video and just like show you the things that I've got. I don't know. I also have a new palette from Cosmic Brushes, which is their pastel palette. I actually brought that on my trip when I went, so I've used that one quite a bit. I can definitely give you some thoughts on that palette. If you want to see that, let me know as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see some more Fantasy Cosmetica content, that will put my playlist up on the screen, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.